Right. Hey, good evening, LinkedIn. Dave Wilson of the Ring of Hire Show. Hey, it's been almost a week, but one of the great subjects I always like talking about, it's really awesome, is micromanagement and how to deal with it. So, you know the drill. Be right back after this. All right. Hey, it's that time again. Just a quick shout out for everybody that's in peak season. I know you're having a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, staffing today, right now, it's like one of the craziest times of all. You're going to have to deal with people working overtime, mandatory overtime, people quitting, a lot of people quitting because of their bosses and their management style. I hear it all the time. I get a lot of messages from people saying, "Hey, what do I do here? Should I leave?" And I love the questions, but I try to just give honest answers. Hey, Steve, how you doing, sir? All the way from Utah. Hope everything's doing well. I'm just going to talk about your great subject tonight, Steve, and that's micromanagement and a little bit of staffing on the side with peak season. So I know you're busy out there, I can imagine. But, and Steve will contest to this, a lot about when employees are quitting, and this could be within logistics, you know, because of everybody working under their supervisor, it doesn't matter, or it can be an office, you know, a micromanager. And the definition of a micromanagement is, I love doing a lot of research on this stuff to see what I can tear apart, but it's, you know, controls, undermines subordinates of the employees. So he's a type of person, he or she, that's really insecure about themselves. And I learned a little bit from spending about an hour is OCD. Most micromanagers have OCD. If they're the type that leave the house in the morning and they worry about are there lights on, is your bed made, did you turn something off, you know, the coffee pot, normally that's a sign of a micromanager. Oh God, here we go. Now we got them both in the house tonight. Micromanagement Tuvia to a T that we're talking about. It's always a subject that between firing, micromanage has to be one of the other worst, oh my God, one of the worst things to deal with ever in your career. And I'm sure you have here, Steve and Tuvia, I'm sure I've had some great bad experiences with micromanagement. Let me see. How far is Nicetown? Are you being wise? Nicetown, PA? Elaborate on that there, Tuvia. I don't know whether you're messing with me or not, but whether it's a nice town, I'm thinking you're talking about being a bad boss. But being when you're underneath someone like that, that's really causing you problems. You see a lot, and what they do is they provide frequent criticism. So no matter what you do, they'll always come back and just say something like a wise ass remark. You know, a micromanager, they're just coming from experience. They're just going to say things to you that are really just going to tick you off. And they know it. They know how to tick your buttons. They know how to make it tick, and they're going to go after it. And after it, if they're after you, you're done. If you have a boss that's a micromanager and they have that one vision, you know what? They're going. You're either going to make a choice. You're either going to go over some things that we talk about today, or you're going to friggin' run, or you're going to find another job. But in all seriousness, a micromanager is unwilling to delegate tasks, like they said, inability to accept failure and innovate. So they don't want failure. They think that they can do it all by telling you, because the majority of them have done the job. So they feel that they know it to 100%, which that's not always true, because some of the great ideas come from new candidates, new employees. They can think of some great things to talk about and new ideas. And you could have an office full of 5 to 10 people, bring somebody new in, they're going to be just like, why didn't you do it this way? And everybody's like, oh. So taking ideas from the newer candidates, it also helps there. But so they constantly need to be updated. Listen, when you're a micromanager, the reports that you probably do are constantly all day long. Emails, updates all the time. It does nothing for the employee that has to constantly write those emails and constantly send you updates when you don't need to. You're wasting the employee's time by doing that if you're a micromanager. So if you are and you're saying to yourself, let's just I want updates every 2 hours. You got to be freaking crazy. That takes the time for people to sit there, write the update on the email, right? This could take 15, 20, 30 minutes out of your day. And you only have, well, nowadays you have 10 or 11, 12-hour shifts, but you only have so much of the time. So by having somebody constantly send updates. Now, listen, if it's a big project and it's something really urgent, there are some exceptions on that part. But if you're just in a staffing industry and you're demanding updates every 2 hours or something, you are going to fail. There he is. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob, I like that posting about the movie place. I can't see. I can forget it now. Oh, come on, Bob. I'm going to forget it already. He said he posted an ad today about one of the movie places that sells the CD movies when you used to go in the 1990s. But we're going to go back. Dismissive or feedback, they don't like to hear that. Micromanagers don't like to hear it. They don't like to hear it, and they don't see the big picture. So they want you to tell them everything so they feel good about themselves because they're not sure if you're doing the job, if that makes sense. Bob, I'm sure you've been through this, Bob, with a micromanager is they don't get off your back. They will not. Let's see. Oh, Tuvia is in Philly. Let's see what I tend to micromanage new people I hire in order to make sure. But once they, you know what, Tuvia, this is an example, just like you said. Oh, Blockbuster. That's right, Bob. Blockbuster. Tuvia, when you said that, I'm going to leave that up. I'm going to read this to you because I had it highlighted. There are select situations in which micromanagement is a positive thing. One example is when companies experience high turnover rate. When employees quit unexpectedly, you'll have to have somebody step in and fill the vacant role. Now, you have to give them the training and especially specific request information and guidance, but they like that because they need that little bit of a control. And then that micromanager should let them go. But that's what you're talking about there is kind of what this person was saying, that, employees go and they go and they go. Somebody not as experienced jumps in. A micromanager kind of likes that a little bit because now you have a new person. Once that new person gets to know what they're doing, they're not going to want to have somebody over the head. But that's true how you said that, Tuvia. I agree with that. Some of the other things, what does it cause the employee? And the big thing here, I think everybody can say is stress at work is stress at home. No way around it. If you're stressing out from a bad boss, and they are just getting on you day in and day out, it just trickles down. It affects you. It affects your health. High blood pressure you can get. You don't eat right. You're gaining weight. That's some of the stuff. You start drinking. These are just some things that are true that'll happen with micromanagement because you're really stressed. You have sleeping problems. You won't sleep. That's the kind of things that a micromanager. So if you're one and you've been told that you're one, these are the kind of things that can really affect that employee behind the scenes. You will constantly have arguments at home. You won't want to go to work. Your depression starts out of this because that can really take the toll. Because if you've been with a company for 5-10 years and all of a sudden someone comes in knocking on that door and all of a sudden it's like, what just happened? What happened with my job right now? I was doing very well. Now this person comes in and wants to know every single detail, what's going on. So really take a look at the health, and what it can cause to your employees. And if you have that problems, you need to go, like we've talked before, about to human resources and discuss, or a little bit here we'll get into is about talking to your supervisor on how you feel. Some of the things here was, what is a personality type? You've had it to where sometimes a micromanager in a meeting will kind of make fun of you. They're just going to enjoy that. They're going to enjoy making comments about you, or maybe that's something minor that might have happened. They're going to really nail that to you in a meeting over and over every time. And you're going to know, because that person's just not going to let up. They're going to just keep going after you for the littlest things that you're ever going to see. A lot of them, they don't like to delegate a lot of the work. They want to do it themselves. So they feel that it's done correctly. But by doing that, it leaves that employee just be like, why am I here? You have a lot of great ideas. And man, that can just come down and slam on you. And one of the things I didn't agree upon, it said, hands-on management becomes micromanager, right? Studies show that it's not good for morale, but not counted as harassment. I don't know. Maybe years ago, but that statement there, studies show that it's not good for morale, but not counted as harassment. I don't know. I don't think I agree with that, because I think it is kind of a form, that's my opinion, of harassment when you're really have somebody down and out and you constantly at them. To me, that would be a type of harassment. But that's just one example, and I just don't agree on that part. The other one is 10 phrases that will help you handle a micromanaging boss. This is funny. And I'm not going to say I've ever done these things, but you're going to do everything in my power to make you look good. You're going to just pump that person up. You know what? Even if you know the answer, kind of slide it in a little bit, like to get their advice a little bit maybe, but you know the answer. They're going to love that. A micromanager loves that kind of thing. Just slide that in there. You know what though? What else do I need to do to complete this? And you're going to know, but let them tell you. That's how you can deal with them. That's just a hint there. Your success is important to me. Tell a micromanager boss that. You know what? Your success is important to me, so I want to make you look good. Tell you what, they're really going to love it. Tell me how you like to work to be done. Try it. If you're in the office and you're having a bad day with some micromanager, tell me, what do I do? How do you like to get my work done? All right. There he is. She is. Hey, how you doing, Gilbert? It's been a while. I'm going to learn that name. Don't say anything. I'm going to figure it out again. Don't say it. I'll figure it out. That's a hard name. So another thing, I will do an excellent job for you. Tell a micromanager that. I will do an extra job for you and really do a good job, and I want to make you succeed. They do. When you do that, is right. Micromanager is one that has controlling issues. We were talking about it before, and some of it is OCD. Because if they have OCD, they will go ahead and they continue to have the same pattern over and over and controlling issues, and that falls right in line with the OCD. Yes, I've not been on live. I haven't either. I've been peak season. It's been nonstop trying to find employees, and you got to get up here once in a while and go on live and keep things going. Another one is say this to I value your advice or I value your guidance. I'm telling you, you try these little things with a micromanager. If you're having a hard time and you're leaving, I value your advice. Just put them up there on that pedestal, and let me tell you, they're going to really treat you really well. How do I tell a boss to stop micromanaging? Put yourself in their shoes. Okay. there are some times to where being a manager is tough. It's hard, and everybody that watches the show that we talk about, it's hard because you have to make those hard decisions. It's how you do it. It's most important. But put yourself in their shoes. I get it. They're the boss. They have a lot going on. Stress from everywhere, coming from all different angles. Have a little bit of sympathy. It's not all bad. They're not all bad. They might have a little bit of micromanagement, but that you can control. Overfeed them. I don't know if that means feed them a lot or just feed them a lot of, you know what I mean? Feed them a lot of bull, I guess, or something like that. Establish expectations. You know, hey, Scott. That's true, though. Hey, Scott, how you doing? Is establish expectations. Now, that can be good. If you're in a meeting, it's great to call a meeting with a micromanager. And if you know, one, you're going to go in that meeting, just ask them what they want done. How do they want it done? When do they want it done? Which way would they like it done? And when you start asking all these questions, that's when you'll start seeing sometimes it's hard for them to decide what to say. Because in their minds, they're either thinking, are they messing with me? You know what I mean? So you got to be careful there. Having a real honest human conversation will go a long way. And I'm going to jump to that part. I do have that. And we'll go away. Wait, I got it. When you want to talk with somebody, yes. This is about an email. I got to read it. I'm sorry. That brought it right up here. Oh. So they talked about having an email sent out, right, to an anonymous employee survey. Now I'm going to get to you about this part. So they're saying employees to prefer their opinions of their managers anonymous. So send out an employee survey and ask these questions. Is your manager open to new ideas, right, and insights? Got it. Does your manager provide feedback to help find helpful? Is your manager using the authority appropriately? Do you feel comfortable sharing your opinion with your manager, right? Does your manager clearly define the company's goals? I don't know about you, but if they're sending out an email, just my opinion here, if a company is sending me an email and I'm going to talk about my boss, right? I have trust issues with that. I really do, because I'm thinking, I wonder if they're sending that email to everybody. You know what I mean? Because that's a tricky one. I get it. Maybe I'd rather have one of those boxes that you put out that you could put a suggestion in a box. I think I would go that route more than sending an email, because I'd be going around the office saying, hey, did they send you an email talking about John, our boss, or Cindy, our boss, and ask all these questions? That's the kind of things that I don't know. But we're back to your point. Sometimes if you're really, and I've had that, if you really confront the issue, if you try to say, hey, can we set up a meeting at the end of the day or over lunch, right? If you really sit them down in a room, it's kind of like you're cornering them, right? Send them an email saying, hey, can we meet? Because that's going to make that micromanager just be like, she wants to meet me, or he, what's going on? That's when you can really take it seriously. And like, Goodford says here, be real honest, right? Tell them, listen, I understand you're under a lot of stress, maybe with the project and what we're doing, or if it's staffing, but is there something that I'm doing wrong? Do you feel that I'm doing something wrong? Because I feel uncomfortable feeling that you don't trust me or the way I'm working. When you come across with something as simple as that in a meeting with one-on-one human, like she said, real, honest human conversation. Can you please tell me, am I doing something wrong? You're making me feel uncomfortable and I feel stressed. Anything you want to say. And that will go a long, long way. I'm just being serious. That's going to put that person back. Like, whoa, you just put something on me that maybe I am saying something the wrong way. Not all micromanagers fully like 100% are bad, but if you have like a 10%, 20%, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting to know everything that's going into your team. There's nothing wrong with having follow-up saying, hey, can you send me updates? It's the ones that just go above and beyond that. They're just insane. But I like that part about an honest conversation. But back to this. Stop being micromanaged. So this one here, what the experts say. Micromanagers abound in today's organizations, but typically it has nothing to do with performance. Okay? Stop being micromanaged. We got Robert. Here we go. I've done anonymous feedback before. I've asked my team to fill out a sheet asking what I can do better for them, and I address general feedback. I've done anonymous feedback, what I can do better for them. I kind of like that, Robert. I've never done that. I've never thought about that. Sending out an email to your team about yourself. I think that's a great idea. I might write that one down. But I could see that done in a professional way to where, again, conversation, email, right? Conversation and asking an employee that, what do you think of me? I like it. I'm still going to be thinking about that one. I like it. That's awesome. But some of them, evaluate their behavior. A lot of it's behavior based. Try to build trust. If you can build trust with your manager, I think that goes a long way. If you, again, think of what your boss might be going through. Maybe it's something that you're doing. It could be something. Listen, if you're coming in late every day, right? If you've been known to turn in reports late, if you've been told numerous times about errors that you've made, if you've been told just different things that other employees have said to you that you're doing wrong, that doesn't always mean that your boss is a micromanager. They're the kind of things that you have to look upon yourself and say, am I causing my boss to feel this way? Am I causing my boss to feel this way because I'm not getting these things done? I'm walking in the office late. They see this. I'm doing reports late. I'm not getting everything done by the end of the day. I'm saying I'm too busy. That's not always on the manager. So really take a look at yourself and see if you're causing some of that issues, because it can be. It's not like a micromanager in an office might only be after one of you or two. I know that sounds bad like that, but if you have a team of 5 or 6 people, there might be 2 people that person micromanages only them and really pushes them to the point, but yet leaves 2 to 3 or 4 people. Okay. But they make the mistake by telling these people that they're going to go after these 2 people. A lot of it in the office politics, if you want to say, micromanagers just cannot keep their mouth shut. They just cannot keep their mouth shut. They want to tell somebody because they want to them to know that they're in charge. If that makes sense to you, I'm being serious. That's the truth right there. That's why they can go after 2 of you, not 4 of you. And sit back. This one here, if you want to try to keep them off of you, listen, keep them in the loop, right? You're sitting there, send an email right out, something that you just did. If that person will get something from you, they might not bother you. They're going to be like, okay, they feel it, right? This is in case you really have to live with one. If you don't want to leave your job and you're trying to just work around them, think of doing things like that. Keep them up to date. It's one of the best things you can do. And here, I was reading this one study. It's why do bosses micromanage? Inexperienced and fundamentally insecure. Every single micromanager incident I've experienced is due to the fact that the boss is relatively new to his or her role. With inexperience comes insecurity. There is a need for a boss to understand everything the employees is doing in order to sleep better at night. Think about that. Every single micromanagement incident experienced is due to the fact that the boss is relatively new to his or her role. With inexperience comes insecurity. There is no need for the boss to understand every single thing that the employee is doing in order to sleep better at night. These are the kind of things that you really read and you're like, why? Why do they do it? Here is one that I like to read. I found it here. You got to love it when you put all these notes together. So cut the cord. I like how they say that. Cut the cord. Getting out from under the thumb of a micromanager is a challenge, to say the least. If you still feel your boss is hovering a foot above you at all times, there's really only one answer. Run and find a new job. That's what it says. Look for a new job, and then it says Monster.com. Apply there. That's a great, some of these articles go right into a job board that do all the posting. So when you're reading this and you're looking up micromanagement and you're trying to learn a lot about it, the ones that sponsor these ads are the job boards. It makes sense. But cut the cord. That's one of the reasons. This one was something. Defer. Get this. Defer and let them do the work. This is called the judo move, where you simply use your boss's force to help you win. Bosses feel better about themselves after they micromanage. Therefore, you might as well let them do your work to perfection for you. That's insane. The judo move. So let them do your work. The next one's lower your manager's expectations. If you can adaptly play dumb and demonstrate you know enough not to get fired, but don't know as much as you really do, then your micromanager will slowly accept your new lowered standard. No way. No. That makes no sense. Help them get busy. These are things right off the research here. If you can help your boss get more work and be better at his or her job, then you are helping yourself, because she'll be too busy to micromanage you. If my boss, that makes no sense. If you can help your boss get more work and be better at your job, then you helping yourself to make them busy on yourself. That makes no sense. To build the trust, I got one more thing here. Build the trust. What's most disappointing about a micromanager is that despite your experience and demonstration, right, you are an outstanding citizen, they still don't trust the work that you do. And it comes down to trust. So a couple of the things, like I said tonight, listen, if you're being micromanaged, been there, done it. I think a lot of us have. You can always remember that one or two times within your career. Don't go through the stress. Don't put your family through it. Don't put your kids, your coworkers, going to the doctors, medications, no sleep. Have those conversations with your boss, or go to their manager and really talk to them and say, listen, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. You shouldn't, if you've been with a company for a couple of years, and you've never been written up, or you don't have any problems, and all of a sudden someone comes in and changes everything on you, try to bring it up and talk about it. And Robert's right. It's the trust. If that trust is broken, once it's broken between you and your boss, it's not coming back. Like he says, love the trust part, because I think we've all been there. If somebody breaks that trust, that bond, that truth, that honesty, and goes behind your back and does something, or is really trying to go out and get you, and you hear about it, it's broke. You'll never go back, and unless you have those hard conversations with someone, I don't think you're going to go back to it. There's no healing with that. So really look in your office, talk to your coworkers. I like the part that Robert says about doing that anonymous feedback email, send out. Maybe you'll learn one or two things. Maybe you won't. Maybe somebody will just say you're the best, right? Oh, you're the best. We don't need you. But if one person says that they don't like the way you treat them, and if you're sending that email, you need to be prepared for feedback. And I believe Robert will understand that. If you're sending that out to somebody and you're going to get something back, you better be prepared for either negative, and to be able to step back and say, wow, maybe they're right. So think about that. You want to know about it, it can come back and haunt you at that, but you need to be able to handle it and say, okay, I've asked for it. But on that note, everybody, have a great night. Rob, thanks for being on. Scott, oh, there's Gabe. I didn't even see you, Gabe. I didn't even see you there. There we go. Good, Britt. And Tuvia, Bob. Everybody have a great night and great weekend coming up. And it's peak season, so it's time to go back to work. Talk to everybody soon.